What's up, guys? It's Evan. Happy Monday. I run a mastermind group for some select entrepreneurs, and every time we have 5 Mondays, I share one of my thoughts, some of my opinions to help the members grow. And so I wanted to make this video to share my thoughts on something that's been coming up a lot with the people I've been talking to around managing a relationship as well as being an entrepreneur. But I haven't really made a video on it on my channel. I'm still developing this model. And there's 5 choices that we need to go through when we are trying to figure out what we need in a partner as well as managing a relationship. I think being in a relationship is challenging for an entrepreneur. It's challenging just in general, but being an entrepreneur is especially challenging because you've got to worry about your company and you've got to worry about your relationship. And so there's 5 stages or 5 choices that I find you kind of have to figure out where you stand and what you need from your partner and what you can offer your partner whenever you're dealing with any kind of these situations that come up. The 5 stages quickly, and then I'll kind of go through what each of them mean. Is discourage, tolerate, accept, support, and champion. And basically, this is just thinking about you want to go off and you want to start something. You have an idea. And this could be a big idea. It could be, I want to start my own business. I want to be an entrepreneur. Or it could be a smaller idea. I want to go and go apple picking this weekend. All of these things that we potentially can cause some friction in a relationship. And let's take the big idea to start with. It's figuring out what do you need from your partner. And so if your big idea is I want to be an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, when you're in a relationship, you need that person with you. It's not a one-person show. Even if you're doing all the work, just the emotional support is important. And so the first stage is discourage. The first choice is discourage. And so can you start your business when your partner is discouraging you? And this applies to all relationships. It's not just intimate ones, but parents, friends, family. This is where I think a lot of people fall down. It's where a lot of times relationships hurt us because we want to start a business, we want to do this big thing, but we have somebody discouraging us, telling us why we can't do it, all the reasons it's not going to work out, whether it's your partner, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends. And so it's really hard to do anything significant when you only have people who are discouraging around you. You need to have a lot of intestinal fortitude and strength to be able to continue to go forward on something when the person in your life is telling you that you shouldn't, you can't, and just keeps pointing out all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. That's discourage. The second choice is tolerate. And so this is where you tolerate it. Your partner is tolerating you starting this business. They don't agree with it. They may not be looking for ways to say, I told you so, and telling you why it's not going to work out. They don't really approve of you doing this thing, but they tolerate it. Maybe every now and then little comments come in and out. They're definitely not on your side. They definitely don't, they don't want to see you fail, but they don't really believe in what you're doing. But they're not the little men. They're not total haters on it. They just tolerate it. And then that makes it a little bit easier for you to go forth and be the entrepreneur and do that big thing you want to do. But it's still difficult. It's still difficult to move forward on your idea, knowing that the people in your lives, they're not in agreement with you. They're just tolerating you, to know that you're putting them in a awkward or difficult situation because you're chasing your dream. And so it starts with discourage, then it goes to tolerate. The third step is accept. The third step is accept. And accept is basically where you basically have their acceptance. It's like, okay, you know what? This is what Evan does. That's how he is. I'm not going to try to change him. I may not love that about him, right? Like your partner may not love this thing about you, but they're going to accept it. This is who they are. I'm not going to encourage it. I'm not going to discourage it. I'm just going to accept that for what they are. And I think for most things in life and in a relationship, this is where you need to be at a bare minimum, like at a basic level. That's what you want out of your partner. If you have somebody who's in the first stage of discouraging you or in the second stage of just tolerating you, that's not fantastic. And in most stages, we would love to have somebody be a huge cheerleader for us, but we'll settle for at least just accept that this is who I am, accept that this is what I want to do. The fourth step is they support. Now we're moving more to the positive side, right? They're not just accepting us, but they're supporting us. They're encouraging us. They are coming along for the ride. They're trying to give us some ideas. They are trying to, they hug us when we feel down, and they encourage us when we need that extra little boost. Maybe they're coming to your events, or they're signing up for your newsletter. A great example of this was Lily, who's on my team, has the Unlocking Lily series, was watching a live stream with her husband. He was doing a live hangout with somebody, and she had no idea what they were talking about. It was super technical, but she was just so proud of him, and she was tuning into the live chat and was leaving some comments and just supporting her. Even though she couldn't really add much value to the conversation, she was just a part of the conversation, just trying to support him and be a friendly face. And so that's now more ideal. We're moving closer towards, you know, what a great partner can provide for us. And then the last step is going to be our champion, to really believe in us, to believe in us more than we believe in ourselves, to push forward, to come up with new ideas, to really support us, to think of all the different ways that we're great, and to really build us up. And so those are the 5 stages, right? Discourage, tolerate, accept, support, and champion. And as you start on your different paths, whatever adventures you're going down, you have to think, what do I need from my partner? How important is this thing? And how important do I need, or what do I need back from them? And it may be different for different situations. So if you're launching your business, as an example, what do you need from the people in your lives? Do you need them to be the champions? I mean, of course, we would love to say, I want champions in everything, right? I want my friends to be my champions, and my partner to be my champion, and my parents to be my champion, right? Of course, we would love to say that, but it's not going to happen in every case, right? You're not, and you won't be a champion for every cause that your partners and your friends and your family are all about. And so it's thinking, for this new thing that you want to launch, how important is it that you get the support of the people around you? If everybody's hating on the idea, are you still going to go forward? Or do you need them to at least accept it? Accept that this is who you are? Or do you need them to support you for you to move forward? Do you need them to be that champion? And I think it's especially important when you are having some difficulties in the expectations of a relationship. So if you expect your parents to be your champion, or if you expect your spouse or your partner to be your champion, and the best that they can do is just support you, or the best that they can do is just accept this thing in you, there's going to be fights, there's going to be arguments, right? Or if they are negative, they're just tolerating you, or they're discouraging you, and you at least want them to support you, or at least want them to accept you. There's going to be fights. So depending on where they are at on those 5 choices and what you need out of those 5 choices from them, having that kind of conversation will open up a lot of honesty and hopefully allow for a better relationship between you guys, and create more realistic expectations. Because I think too often we want people to be our champions, and they can't give that to us. But you know what? If they can just support, or they can accept, that could be enough for you. And maybe that should be enough for you. And so if I look at my own relationship with Nina as an example, from a business perspective, you know, from a me being an entrepreneur perspective, I think Nina supports me. You know, I don't know that she's my champion and that she's off like doing all these crazy things for me in my business, but she's not just accepting that this is who I am, and she's definitely not on the negative side of discouraging me or just tolerating me. You know, she supports what I do, and has been the most supportive of any relationship that I've been into. When I first started dating Nina, I was shocked. You know, I was just surprised at how much support that I got, because I wasn't used to it, because I didn't need it. You know, I don't need the support. I don't need to be negative, but just acceptance is fine for me. And so she went beyond what I needed, and that was a great surprise for me. And you know, that's why she's a keeper. And so that's for the business side. But if I look at traveling as an example, she probably falls between the tolerate and accept, more on the slightly negative skew. And it's one of the reasons why I don't travel that much. You know, I'm not off. I could be traveling every single weekend. I could be off speaking at different events every single weekend. But Nina really misses me when I go away. And if I travel too much, it causes a rift between us. And so she's between the tolerate and accept level, as long as it's not too often, right? I think I traveled 7 times this year, which is a lot for me. I try to keep it usually 3 to 4 times. So about 7 or 8 times. And that was okay. Like, that's probably the maximum. And so if I did more than that, we would, you know, it would cause some issues. If I look at other things in life, right? This 5-choice model doesn't just apply to business. It applies to everything. It applies to your entire relationship. Like, what do you need from your partner for this area of your life? So if I look at the decision for us, for example, to live in a condo versus a house. I love condo living. I like having a condo. I like not having to worry about the roof and air conditioning and maintenance and mowing the lawn and like all of the all of the crap involved with having a house. You know, I've had a house, I built a 5,000 square foot custom home from scratch, and just not something I ever want to come close to, at least in the near future for me. And I love living in a condo. I love having a pool. I love having a gym. I love having a doorman. I love everything about condo living. Nina would prefer a house. She would prefer more space. She loves gardening, so she'd prefer to live a little bit further outside the city and be able to have a backyard and grow her plants and crops and all that stuff. And I like being in the city. I like being able to walk to restaurants and the movies and all that kind of stuff. And so for us on that spectrum, she accepts that we live in a condo. You know, she doesn't love it, but she doesn't hate it. And so when it comes to that, like, what do we need from each other? I need at least acceptance. You know, if she was discouraging it and every Saturday we were talking about moving, at some point that would cause a big conflict in our relationship, right? And so I need her to at least accept living in a condo, and she does. And so that works. And so again, ideally, you want people to champion everything that you're doing, right? I would love for Nina to be a champion of us living in a condo, as an example, or to be a champion of me traveling every weekend to go and touch a lot of people's lives as I travel around the world. But the reality is, that's not going to be the case in every situation. On the net, like net on the major decisions, we are in line, right? We're either supporting or championing each other. On some things, you can't always get there, and then it's really understanding what do you actually need from your partner. You know, I think as long as you can look at these 5 and be able to classify the people in your life, your parents, your friends, your partner, the people who are important to you in your life, and figure out what do I need from that person on this project that I want to do. Anywhere from as big as I want to launch a new company and I want to do this big thing, down to just a small project of I want to learn dance lessons. I want to go learn how to salsa, right? Do you need the people in your life to support you, to champion you, to encourage you? Or is it okay if they discourage or just tolerate or just accept? And so I think if you're having any kind of relationship issues, friends, family, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, I would run that problem that you're facing. Like, what are you arguing over? What's the big thing that's causing fights, disagreements for you? And then run it through the 5 choices. Where are they now? And what do you need from them? 1 is discourage, 2 is tolerate, 3 is accept, 4 is support, and 5 is champion. Where are they now on that list, and what do you need from them to be happy, and can you meet somewhere close? And same thing the other way around. Whatever you're fighting from their side, what do they need from you? From this issue that you're dealing with, what do they need from you? And where are you on that scale? Discourage, tolerate, accept, support, champion. If you can have an honest conversation and you can get to the point where what you need from them is matching what they can give you, it may not be perfect, but it could just be enough to help save the relationship, save the argument, and allow you to have an honest conversation to help you move forward and through the mucky waters that sometimes come through when you're trying to handle a relationship. So those are my thoughts. I've used this model a lot in just a lot of personal conversations I've had with people. It's something that I use with Nina, and then I've used that to other people that I've tried to help as they've come to me with relationship issues. And I thought that might be a helpful resource to share with you guys and hopefully help you with relationships that you are going through. I see there's a bit of a live chat going on here on the live channel. What do we got? Antoine, thanks again for the gift. You're welcome, Antoine. Anita, all good, live on a Monday. Yeah, so in my online mastermind, every 5 Mondays, if there's 5 Mondays in a month, it's my turn to go. So we rotate through 4 Mondays. People have their chances to talk, and the 5th one, I talk. So you guys got lucky. We got 5 Mondays. Raven, Evan, does apply to other relationships than the partner, such as dependence and mom, sort of my own thing. So giving my young boys the time they need from me. Yeah, it's a great example. Like, what do your boys need from you? And what do you need from them? And just matching those expectations, because you might be giving what you think they need, but it may not be what they want. You know, it may be that you think by checking in with them every day and saying, hey, how are you, is doing a good motherly duty. Maybe that annoys them. And maybe what they really want is, people to come to you for advice when they have problems, right? If you're starting a business, what do you need from them? You know, maybe you would love for them to be your champion. You would love for them to say, go mom, you can do this. This is amazing. We're with you. We'll help set up your Facebook page. We'll help set up your Instagram page. Like, it's always the ideal. You want what your goals are to match with the people in your life. But they may not be willing to do that, right? They may not want to be your champion. It doesn't mean that they're going to hate on your idea. But if they can get to just supporting you or just accepting that, hey, this is what mom does, that's great. Can they get to that point? And is that enough for you? Or are you going to be disappointed in them if they don't at least support you, if they can't be your champion, right? So where along the spectrum of those 5 choices, what do you absolutely need from them? Obviously, we would always love for them to champion, but what do you absolutely need from them? And then what can they give you? And just giving those examples, like walking through the 5, discourage, tolerate, accept, support, champion, walking through each 5 and what they mean, and just saying, hey, where do you guys think you could fall on this scale? And here's what I would love from you. And see, can you match those expectations? Because just having an honest conversation, if they can come and say, mom, we accept that this is what you're doing. We're not going to be negative. We're not going to just tolerate it. We're not going to discourage you. We just accept it. And then is that going to be enough for you? So when you know where they're coming from, they know where you're coming from. And the same thing vice versa of what they need from you. And the way that the model usually comes up is through a problem. It's just thinking, what are you fighting over? What's the problem? What challenge keeps coming up between you that you keep going back and forth and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting over? And then run it through this model. What do you need from them? What can they offer you? Back and forth. And then just seeing, because what often happens is we go to extremes where you be like, I need a champion for my business, and you think that they're super negative and hating on your business. You're going from 1 to 5, discourage to champion. But really, they're probably somewhere in between. And you may not need that champion. You're somewhere in between as well. And so I would encourage for any kind of fight that you're going through with anybody in your life, it comes because of a mismatch of expectations. You want something from them, you want their support, and you're not getting it to the level that you need. And so if you can have an honest conversation through these 5 metrics, then it just provides a framework for an honest conversation so that you guys can get on the same page and move forward. It's been super helpful. What else? Antoine, I hear you, Evan. My girlfriend is totally supportive, and I'm so grateful to have her by my side. My mother, on the other hand, is discouraging me every time, but she accepts. So here, like, it's a great example. Like, if you can have a conversation with your mom and show these 5, right? Discourage, tolerate, accept, support, champion, right? You go through those 5 and say, Mom, this business is really important to me. You know, it may not work out. It may not be the big thing that I want it to be. I may fail along the way, but I need to try it. You know, I need to try it for me just so that I don't live the rest of my life with regret. Like, I need to know. I'm okay with it not working out, but I need to know, because I don't want to be 65 years old and looking back at this point in my life and say, man, I should have done something. Like, I had a window, at least to try, right? I get that you don't love this idea. I get that you're not going to be my champion, right? You're not going to be choice 5 for me. That's okay. But you mean a lot to me. And starting the business is stressful enough to do it all on my own. I get that you can't be a 5 for me. I would love for you to be a 3, though. I would love for you just to accept that this is who I am and that this is what I need to do right now. I'm not trying to do something that is hurting you or hurting the family. I just really don't want to have stress with you every time we sit down. I don't want to avoid coming over for family dinners or not calling you because of the pressure and stress that I feel. And I would love if we can just get to a phase 3, if you can do that. Like, I don't know if we can get there, but I would love to be able to get there where you're just supporting me, or where you're just accepting that this is who I am, right? If you can get there, like, if you can have that honest conversation with your mom, you want her to be a 5, you think she's a 1. If that conversation moves you to a 3 and she just accepts you, man, that's a huge weight off your shoulder and probably a huge relief for her as well. And so, again, this just provides you with a framework to be able to have an honest conversation and get people who are far apart on something as big as starting the business to something that's like, who's going to take out the trash, right? Like, those habits cause problems, cause issues in relationships. And so being able to filter everything through those 5 choices can make a big difference. What else? Zeno, all out of love. J Rise, whoa. Zeno saying to rewatch it again. I love it. What else we got? Anita, can you quickly list those 5 choices again now, please? I missed half of it here, had phone calls. So this is, you can watch the replay, but it's on here. I said it a few times. 1 is discourage. They're just telling you all the reasons why it's not going to work out. They're negative, they're hating, they're being the little man in your life. And again, it might be out of love, it might be because they just don't think that it's a good fit. But they're just still discouraging whatever it is that you want to do. 2 is they tolerate. They don't like it. They're still gonna poke and still gonna say, see, yeah, you see, it's not working out. It's still like little messages, but not absolutely hating on your idea. They tolerate that this is something that you're gonna do. 3 is accept. Accept is neutral. Accept is, I'm not gonna be a part of it, but I'm not gonna be negative either. I accept that this is who you are. This is what you wanna do. This is your dream. This is something that you wanna try out. You go off and do it. It's gonna be by yourself without me. I mean, maybe if you need emotional, you wanna have a conversation, but I'm not, on board, but I'm not negative either. 4 is support. Support is where they're encouraging you. They're helpful. They're coming to your events. They're showing up on your live chats. They're doing little things to encourage you and be a part of your journey. Not take a front seat, but be the back seat. Be kind of a cheerleader behind you and supporting you in little ways, right? Just little tiny ways to help you. And 5 is champion. 5 is like where they are your #1 fan. They are everywhere. They are encouraging you. They're coming up with new ideas. They're actively being involved. They're coming up with strategies for you to be able to grow this thing that you want to do. They're jumping in to help. And so those are the 5 stages: discourage, tolerate, accept, support, and champion. Zeno typed it in the chat. I love that. Tolerate, not tolerance. Yeah, close enough. That's it, guys. Thank you for the love. Hopefully that helped. It was fun to share a new idea. Shout out to Alex from TDS. I was talking to him about this today, and he used it to help somebody who's a student of ours at Toronto Dance Salsa. And he said, you should turn this into a book. You should really talk about this more often because it's super helpful. And I haven't seen you make a video or anything on it. So I thought, you know what? It's my turn to share in my mastermind. So this is me sharing. And hopefully that helped you guys too. And being an entrepreneur and running relationships is rough, and I think just over communicating is super important to get through any crisis, any issues, and hopefully you can use this model to frame that conversation so that you can come to a point where you guys can get on the same page. Again, anywhere from huge issues to tiny minutia. Understanding what you need from your partner and what you can offer them can really, really, really make a big difference instead of just fighting and yelling at each other. So thank you guys for the love. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. I believe in you. Hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. Much love, guys. See you soon.